What is up, F and true followers, wrestling fans, and members of the YWC? JAC Styles here with the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com, and welcome to another Monday Night Raw review for April 23rd, 2012. This was the 3-hour live show. Got a lot to talk about, a little time. Want to get this up for you guys in case you weren't able to tune in, watch the show, and leave your comments and your thoughts on what you thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw for those that have seen it. So let's get right into it. We take it to the ring as we getting ready to set in to see the WWE contract signing for John Cena versus Brock Lesnar for this coming Sunday's Extreme Rules main event. We then have Teddy Long introduce John Cena. John Cena comes out, and then he introduces Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's music hits. Moments after his music hits, Laurinaitis comes out and says that Lesnar's not here. I told you that. Lesnar says when he gets here, when on his time, he will do the contract signing. Then we see Laurinaitis boss Teddy around to tell him to ask John to kindly leave the ring. As Teddy Long is getting ready to do so, the Rated R superstar Edge's music hits. He comes out and gets a really great ovation. Gets Edge chants, one more match, this, that, and the other. At least I think I heard. It was a mixture of chants. I don't know if it was welcome back, one more match. And it was really funny because I was thinking, oh, how cool would it be to see Edge spear John Cena and write his name on the contract, but we know that cannot happen due to Edge's paralysis with his neck problems that he has had over the last couple of years, which forced him to retire early last year after WrestleMania. Edge basically comes out and says, John, what are you doing? He says, we don't need this John Cena. The John Cena that's standing in front of me, we don't need that. We need the John Cena who put me through 2 tables in my hometown of Ontario, Canada, in a TLC match. The John Cena who took me to my limits every time we got in the ring and we hooked up for the championship and in singles matches, non-title matches, basically to light a fire under John Cena's ass. Then we see Edge get in the ring and leave. We see Cena just standing left in the ring, speechless. And to be honest, John Cena doesn't say anything for the whole night, actually. And this was a very shocker because usually John Cena is a very interactive guy with the fans and just nothing. We then move into the first match of the night, which is Chris Jericho versus Kofi Kingston. I'm sorry. It was a pretty good, solid match. The outcome was pretty predictable at the beginning of the match. We knew Chris Jericho was going to win going into an Extreme Rules. Wow, I almost said Elimination Chamber. We get ready. We see Chris Jericho and Kofi Kingston take it to the ring, and it was just such a phenomenal match. These guys definitely work well together. And I made a comment because I believe it was a year or two ago, Kofi Kingston was in the Elimination Chamber, and he got jumped. I think it was by Chris Jericho, and I said, how funny would it be if someone came up behind him and jumped him from behind? And my buddy was like, oh yeah, you mean get Kofi'd? And there was an ongoing joke with that, just because there was numerous. If you guys remember, there was numerous times where Kofi was getting jumped from behind, and they nicknamed it the Kofi because it was like, oh, be careful, you don't want to get Kofi'd. But definitely great match. There's a couple of great spots. Kofi took it to the air a couple of times. He did at one point. He caught himself as he was going to do a suicide dive between the ropes. He caught the rope, the top rope, on the back of his neck, but right here, kind of like almost like a reverse guillotine to stop him from going out of the ring, which was kind of unique because you don't really see him do stuff like that. Great match. Chris Jericho picks up the win via Walls of Jericho. Then gets on the mic and basically says, I'm going to present CM Punk with a gift later on tonight and to help him cope with his loss at Extreme Rules. We then go into a promo video package for Brock Lesnar. Then we see hyping for the contract signing later on tonight. Back from the break, we see Laurinaitis on the phone. Eve comes walking in and basically wants to be a part of Laurinaitis' team and is the executive vice administrator for the Divas division. To end that promo, we then move into another Brock Lesnar promo from last week. Then Josh Matthews is backstage standing by with CM Punk. Getting ready to talk about the match going into Extreme Rules, everything that's happened, and then there was a basket with a whole bunch of different liquors that was a gift from Chris Jericho. And we see CM Punk take out one of the bottles and say, I'm going to give Chris Jericho a gift this Sunday." And I was thinking at that point he was going to take the bottle and smash it on his head like Chris Jericho did to him several weeks ago. But he winds up handing the basket over to Josh Matthews. Then later in the night, we see some altercation with that bottle, and it was really funny, which set up the later promo. We then see more backstage. We see more footage from last week with Lord Tensai picking up the win over John Cena. We then see R-Truth versus Lord Tensai. Now, this was another match that we knew the outcome right off the bat. We saw Lord Tensai pick up the win. R-Truth did his very best to try to put off the big man's onslaught, but did not happen, and we saw Lord Tensai pick up the win in this match. We then see Kane walking backstage as we go to commercial. Then Kane comes out and talks about Randy and how he's struggling with the humanity and trying to come to grips with that. The fact is that Kane discovered his weakness, that Orton cannot beat him in a one-on-one straight-up match. Talks about how he hit his Cowboy Bob Orton with the pipe and then laid out Randy Orton. And this moved on and on and on, says that Randy Kane is the very nightmare that Orton dreams about every night. Basically, the same thing as always. Kane comes out, does this very interesting promo. Randy Orton shows up and he goes, you attacked my father, and I never got a chance to repay you back for that, and you laid me out. So he says, I have your father here. He puts Paul Bearer into a meat locker, pretty much a freezer, and leaves him there. Kane comes back up on the mic and says, I don't really care. It's like my father, and everyone knows this, that my father has been and always will be the devil. And he says, sorry, Paul, but you're not my father. And Kane hits his pyro, and then Orton comes out and they brawl. We see Orton pick up a lead pipe from underneath the ring and tee off on the Big Red Monster, as we see Kane hightail it through the crowd to end this segment. We then see Alberto Del Rio and Cody Rhodes take on the team of the Big Show and the Great Khali. Now, this match was actually set up from this past Friday night on SmackDown, where Cody Rhodes took out the Great Khali before he can even get in the match, attacking the Great Khali's left leg. This was a pretty good match. It was a little slow because you have two big guys going against two guys that are in their prime. I mean, two quick, capable guys. Don't get me wrong, not to take anything away from Big Show and the Great Khali, but Cody Rhodes and Alberto Del Rio definitely had the big guys' numbers in this match. But picking up the win is the Great Khali and the Big Show. We then see a pre-show match announced that will be shown on YouTube 7:30 Sunday night on YouTube. We will see on WWE's official channel. We will see the United States Championship defended. Santino will defend the United States title against The Miz at Extreme Rules pre-show. Then we see Chris Jericho backstage with Laurinaitis, Eve, and says CM Punk is drinking. Actually, earlier in the night, Alex Riley brought to Chris Jericho's attention that CM Punk was drinking. So you walk in and they're basically trying to creep their head in without alerting CM Punk, and CM Punk sitting there with a plastic cup and the bottle of Jack Daniels that he took out of the basket that was given to him by Chris Jericho. Basically, Chris Jericho wants the CM Punk tested for alcohol abuse, and they bring in the official WWE rules and regulations that if a WWE superstar or diva has been drinking 12 hours prior to a WWE event, him or her can be suspended or fired or stripped of a title. And that's exactly what Chris Jericho was trying to get. He was trying to weasel his way to the WWE Championship. And we see this later in the night. We then see Brock Lesnar walking in backstage, and then Josh Matthews asks Brock Lesnar that Where's he been? Lesnar doesn't answer. Then he says, do you think after you lose to John Cena this Sunday at Extreme Rules, do you think you'll be the face, still be the face of the WWE? Lesnar pushes him up against the big semi-rigs that carry the equipment to the arenas. And basically we just see Lesnar, tap him on the face. And then as Lesnar's getting ready to walk away, Josh Matthews mutters, I'm just trying to do my job. And Lesnar just grabs him and throws him through the interview area where the fences and the Raw is War and the screens are. Back from break, we see Josh Matthews being loaded onto the stretcher. And then we move into a Divas title match. Nikki Bella versus Beth Phoenix. Now, this was a very different kind of a match that we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing quick matches, and this was actually a pretty solid match. Great wrestling on Nikki and Beth's part. This match was set up about 3 weeks ago when Nikki Bella picked up the win over Beth Phoenix in a non-title match, and we see Brie Bella. Sorry, before the match even starts, we see Eve come out and say, "Hey, Brie's out there." And just to make sure that we don't see no twin magic, I'm gonna make this a lumberjill match. We see the whole Divas locker room empty out from both Raw, SmackDown, and we see two of them from NXT. Excuse me. And going into this match, it was a pretty good match, like I said. Beth Phoenix had the upper hand. As she was getting ready to jump off the apron, she fell. Came down on her left ankle and believed to be a sprain. Now I don't know if this is a work or if she really did sprain her ankle. Usually you don't really see that happen a lot on a live Raw, so I'm only hoping that Beth is okay and that this is just a work and that she won't have to miss any time. But we do have a new Divas champion in Nikki Bella. And we see Teddy Long backstage talking with Punk, and Punk's kind of woozy and kind of, fake, kind of like, acting kind of woozy and slurring his words, and gets hot-headed and starts throwing furniture around as Teddy Long says that we need you to come out to the ring for a live field sobriety test. We then come back from a commercial break. CM Punk comes out where we see Chris Jericho and two of Detroit's finest standing in the ring. They ask him to recite the alphabet backwards and does not. Then they ask him to walk the straight line, and he does not. And as he's getting ready to, he hands the title over to Teddy Long. He goes, wait, I want one more chance, but one more chance. Come on, give me one more shot. And then he basically just sticks it to Chris Jericho, recites all his ABCs backwards, and walks a straight line. And he also walks back and forward and walks backwards on the red line, doing the strut. He tries to do his imitation of the moonwalk, and he winds up clocking Chris Jericho with the microphone. I'm sorry, and starts to get his revenge on Chris Jericho. We then see, to end this segment, we see the World Heavyweight Champion set to take on Mark Henry. Then we go to another Brock Lesnar video. We come back, we see Sheamus versus Mark Henry with, lo and behold, the master of the Yes Lock, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan walks out as the special referee. Now, this match wasn't even, the bell rang. It started off pretty good, and then all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan gets involved. We then see the two spill out to the outside, Mark Henry and Sheamus. No, I'm sorry. We see Sheamus and Daniel Bryan spill outside. We see Sheamus rip Daniel Bryan's shirt off as they get back into the ring. Sheamus hits the Mark Henry with a bro kick. Then we see Daniel Bryan take it to Sheamus, putting him in the Yes Lock, and basically Sheamus taps out, doesn't even tap, he just sits there in the Yes Lock and just takes it, and then I believe he passed out from the pain, and as he's got this lock on and he's in pain, you hear Daniel Bryan screaming in his ear, yes, yes, yes. We then see the Funkasaurus Brodus Clay come out, and we see, we see a tag teams match between Santino, Zack Ryder and Epico and Primo, the WWE Tag Team Champions, with the winners picking up Santino Marella and Zack Ryder. We then see footage from earlier of Josh Matthews being attacked by Brock Lesnar, still to come, the contract signing. We then see Primo and Epico arguing backstage, and Abraham Washington says, if you want some advice, here's my card, call me. And they basically start agreeing between themselves, and then you see Rosa, shaking her head yes. Then we see Hornswoggle and Brodus Clay to take on Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. Now, it was not even a match. I'm not going to even call it that. It was a solid match, but it wasn't a solid match. We see Hornswoggle get in, and they basically beat up on him, and then we see him tag in the big Brodus Clay. He gets in the ring. He cleans house. And then just as he's getting ready to finish off Dolph Ziggler, Vicky Guerrero gets in the ring and basically slaps Brodus Clay, ending disqualifying her team of Swagger and Ziggler. Then she tries to dance with the Funkettes, the Funkasaurus X. I don't know what they call them. I couldn't really make it heads or tails of what they said. They were just saying it too fast. Then Hornswoggle bites Vicky Guerrero on her bum and runs off, and they dance the promo segment out. We then go to another Brock Lesnar video, and then we come back. We see the contract signing for the Extreme Rules main event. I'm not going to dwell on this too much. John Cena doesn't come out until the very end. We see Lesnar say that there's not going to be a match unless some of my changes are met. I want a private jet to take me to and from the venues. I want Vince McMahon's private jet. He goes, I want the name of Monday Night Raw to be named Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar if he becomes the face. And basically, he goes, he wants more money, and any decisions made by John Laurinaitis has to go through Brock Lesnar. Then we see them agree. They shake hands. Lesnar signs the contract. John Cena comes out with his padlock and chain around his neck. And at first, when John Cena came out, I was thinking that John Cena was going to come out to the old Word Life Thugonomics music, but he did not. Didn't even say anything. He was kind of reluctant to sign the contract. He got in the ring, he signed it, and then there was almost looked like there was going to be a confrontation. Lesnar says, "You're scared. I'll see you this Sunday." And basically, the two stare each other down. Lesnar walks up the ramp to end the show. So, guys, this video is about 18 minutes long. So hopefully every one of you bared with me and watched the whole show. Please, thank you for tuning in. Please check out all the channels that make up the effing brand of wrestling and entertainment. Also, Brian's Fight Nation Wrestling and the official website of Effing True Wrestling at fightnationwrestling.com. Guys, thanks for watching. Please leave your comments below and have a great night.